All right, everyone, welcome back. Chasing Winners, your number one show for all DFS gambling-related sports talk. Week 5 NFL season. As always, I'm your host, Ryan Baumohl, Gambling DFS Tips on Twitter. I'm joined by Kyle Mastoloni, JP Lyon. Guys, what's up?
How we doing?
I'm going to try that every week. I'm going to say, guys, what's up, and see if you guys can at some point sync together and get it. That's what we're going to do.
You want us to respond at the same time? I didn't want to do that, so I just talked right away.
I want one of you just to respond, the other to be like, oh yeah, and it to sound pure. And we've got 12 more weeks, well, 13 including this week.
13.
By the end of the season, we'll get it.
No, we've got 13 after this one. 18-week season.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
My brain will never understand that, like, when there's a 16, like, when your team plays 16 games, there's a 17-week season, even though you have a bye. Like, my brain just, certain things my brain doesn't comprehend, like, it just doesn't comprehend that. But good thing is my brain does somewhat comprehend some bets, some picks, what Vegas tries to tell you to do. Guys, we are, we're just under a quarter of the way through the season, about a fifth of the way through the season. I don't really know exactly what the math is. But, I mean, JP, I think you were the one that said it. I think we're kind of where you thought we were going to be. You know, I'm 35-28, 10-3 on best bets. Kyle, 28-35. You've taken my record and just, flipped it. You're 5-8 on best bets. JP, you're 26-37. You're 5-7 on best bets. So I guess the positive for you, JP, is you have a better winning percentage on your best bets than Kyle does.
That's correct, and I'm clawing my way back on Kyle right now. Last couple weeks I've beaten both weeks, so only 2 games back of Kyle, and I'm just gonna forget about you.
Kyle, you are. I'll say you're 28-35. You're 5-8. What do you have to say to all these people that blindly tail your picks every single week?
I don't know if there's many of them, but I apologize. We're gonna right the ship here. I was being Jeff Fisher for a while, but 7-9 kills you after a while every single week. So gonna need to get a little better here.
I would say the 6-10 week killed you. 6-10 was what killed you in week 3.
That happened.
Right,
putting Giants unders. Also putting Giants unders on my best bets every week killed those too.
That doesn't help.
Well, we can start there because we can focus on some positives. Somebody came on this podcast last week and told you the Giants were 100% going to cover and they were going to have a good chance to win outright. Kyle, this may be the only chance you have all year to brag about a Giants win, so go ahead.
Yeah, and I didn't believe you at all. I thought I gave the sky is falling look last week, but now I couldn't be more positive in my outlook. I mean, Daniel Jones looked great. He looked like a competent NFL quarterback. Actually won the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, which I never thought I would see. Saquon looks like he's humming again. We had John Ross out there just beating everybody over the top, which was great to see. Defense, obviously, still some work to be done with Blake Martinez out, but we're getting there.
JP, you kind of the other side of the spectrum. At least as a Vikings fan,
we've played a good team.
But here's I do think Cleveland's better than New Orleans. But I think at least as a Vikings fan, and I think Kyle's starting to learn this as a Giants fan, even though Daniel Jones is starting to play a little better. As a Vikings fan, I mean, you know what you get with Kirk Cousins. You're going to have weeks where he looks like a top 5 quarterback, and you're going to have weeks where him and the entire offense just kind of sputters, and it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't put a ton of that loss on Kirk. He's been great so far this year. Last week wasn't his best effort. He didn't have a lot of time to throw. Obviously, Myles Garrett and the Cleveland defensive line, as you called last week, were pretty good, and that was frustrating. I think
Kirk's the perfect, like, when he has the right pieces around him and things are working, he's going to be a really, really good quarterback. But he's not at that level. I'm not even going to say Lamar because everyone's going to get on me, but not at that level of like a Russell Wilson or I don't want to say like Rodgers and Brady, like the top echelon, but even like that next tier, even like we're seeing kind of with Kyler a little bit of like these guys where it's like, if not everything goes right, they can still kind of make guys around them still play decent. Kirk's one of those guys that it's like, when the offense seems to sputter, and like you said, when the offensive line's getting hit, when receivers aren't getting open, if you're not running the ball, if Dalvin's not 100%, he's not the guy that's going to be like, you know what, let me go throw for 350 yards. Let me go take this offense over today and let me go win this game. Kirk Cousins seems to win games where he's put in positions that, and to be fair, a lot of quarterbacks still don't even win those games because you have to be at this level, an elite quarterback, to still win those kind of games. But, I mean, do you agree I think at this point of his career, it's safe to say he's not I'm going to go win this game for my team on a consistent basis?
He's never been that guy.
I agree.
A lot of those quarterbacks you listed have that rushing ability where they can get out of the pocket and throw on the run. Kirk's never had that ability, and we know that. The depressing part is just that we've known for years that our offensive line is terrible, and we've never done anything to fix it. We've gotten rid of the only good guys we have there. So that's the frustrating part.
All right, well, let's get into this week. Kyle, I'm going to start with you. It's Thursday night, the Rams and the Seahawks. I don't know how this happens, but the NFC West teams, they just play each other every single week. I don't know how that works, but it's great because that's the best division in football right now. So keep playing each other. The Rams at the Seahawks Thursday night. The Rams are a 2.5-point favorite on the road coming off that loss to the Cardinals. This over-under is 54.5. Kyle, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was complaining a bunch last week about the NFC West games not being in a national TV window, but here we go. We got one on Thursday night too, which is great. So yeah, in this game, we got two of the best offenses in the league. So I'm definitely looking at over 54.5 in this game is my pick, and it's my best bet. It's one of my best bets. I mean, still think the Rams are one of the best offenses in football, even after sputtering a little bit last week. And then the Seahawks, they figured out how to play in the fourth quarter, which was something JP pointed out last week, that they just can't play second halves. They actually won the second half this past week. So looking forward to a high-scoring game, looking forward to a shootout and that overhitting.
JP, give me your thoughts while I find my pen so I don't go crazy.
What? Yes, Kyle, that's exactly right. They played in the second half last week, which is nice to see. They actually had the opposite of what they normally do. They could only score 7 in the first half, and they did not look good in the first quarter. But after I went to Chipotle and came back with my burrito, then they scored a touchdown and went into the half looking good. Came out of the second half, looked sharp. I feel like this is a bounce back week for both teams. I feel like the Rams offense is going to recover and the Seahawks are going to slip a little from what they had. It seems like a lock for me to take the over here, and so I hate it and going the under 54.5. Wow.
So since everyone comes for my expert analysis and all these stats and everything I give out, it's a Thursday night game. Betting overs are fun. Two teams like to score over 54.5. That's what I'm going to take.
You guys are going to make me change my pick.
Don't change your pick because then
don't change your pick.
Oh, true. But then so I'm losing either way. That's great.
No, the under wins. You're good.
Well, yeah,
you got one back on both of us.
Right.
All right, so I'm 0-1 to start the week. What do we got next?
Oh my God, we're already starting. He's already starting to jinx us.
Baylor plus 4 killed me.
I'll give you the best game of the week, JP.
Oh, yes.
The Jets are at the Falcons. 2 Super Bowl contenders go to London. Which team will come back and remain a Super Bowl contender? 2 teams that it's Super Bowl or bust this year. The Falcons are a 3.5-point favorite. That over-under is 46. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't have a ton of analysis here. Zach Wilson looks like he's starting to round into form, which is a little earlier than I would have liked him to do. I'd still like him to lead the league in interceptions for my plus 900 from the preseason pod. But the offense looks like it's figuring itself out. Corey Davis looked good last week. Corey Davis revenge game, that was fun. Titans -8 was not fun though. So, and then the Falcons actually had some offense against the Washington football team. So, 46 seems low, and I'm going to take it over 46.
Kyle.
So yeah, I'm still not a big believer in the Jets. I know the offense actually looked great last week, but I mean the Titans defense hasn't really shown to be much of anything this year. Neither has the Falcons though, but we're traveling here to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, your team stadium here, Ryan, but I'm going to go
two winners coming to a stadium of winners.
Oh yeah, of course. Lot of trophies between all these teams. But I'm gonna go Falcons minus 3.5 here. It's just something about the rookie QB traveling to London just doesn't rub me the right way.
I mean, my analysis here is going to be two teams that I don't trust either team. I do think both the offenses are better than both the defenses. They're going to London. I don't trust either team. It's just an auto London bet for me. I'm taking the under of 46. So, JP, so far, you are on one side of both bets, and I'm on the other side of both bets. So.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how that goes. Maybe this is the week you make up all that ground on me.
There's no chance.
But I like to do it for TV and for the viewers. I mean, if I'm up 20 picks by week 7, then that's not fun.
True. So you're just going to go 1-15 to make it interesting?
2-14.
Could you let me know the week you're going to do that, please?
Yeah, when I know the week I'm going to do it, I'll let you know. It might happen
great.
after the week, but I'll let you know. But yeah, I'm going to take that under 46. I have zero stats to back up the totals in London, and something that could very easily be looked up, but it's Wednesday, and I've already had a crazy week and haven't been able to look up those kind of stats yet, so my brain tells me that under 46, because under's in London, and 46, like you said, it's a low number, but it's a low number if this was, like, here. Like, 46 feels like it's like 46 in London feels like if they were playing here, it's like 48.5. Whether that's true or not, who knows? But that's kind of how I look at that.
That's fair. I haven't picked any games in London before, so I would have no idea.
Yeah, like I said, there's zero stats backing it up, and you could tell me that the last, 10 games in London have gone 10-0 on the over. I'd still be like, you know what, under. All right, let's go Philly at Carolina, Kyle. Carolina, they're a 3.5-point favorite at home. That over-under is 45. Dallas handled Carolina last week, but I still think that we're at a point where Carolina is fairly legitimate as a team, especially now getting Stephon Gilmore obviously helps out that defense. Kyle, what are your thoughts this week?
Yeah, I think this line is definitely in overcorrection. I mean, I don't think the Eagles are good whatsoever. The Cowboys also handled the Eagles. I mean, so if you're going football math, then they both got dominated by the Cowboys. I think it was a little, like I said, bit of an overcorrection here. I still think the Panthers are legit, especially after getting Gilmore. JP, was this line before or after that Gilmore signing was announced, or is it still the same?
Should be before. Let me check and see. Because I know McCaffrey might play as well, so that could have changed the line as well.
Okay. So I mean, we're going off of these lines for the pod, so I'm definitely taking the Panthers minus 3.5 here.
JP?
And do you think he plays this week, Gilmore? Anyone?
I don't see why not.
I still see 3.5. Oh,
yeah,
that's both.
Yeah, and I think it opened at 4.5, so it's even dropped to 3.5. But yeah, JP, what are your thoughts?
I'm thinking a similar path here. Again, I made this pick before Gilmore. I mean, I didn't think McCaffrey would play for another 3 weeks at least, but apparently he's back at practice and has a chance to play. Fantasy thinks he's going to play because they're projecting 27 points again. So which he's getting under those points, right? There's no way he does that well coming off this injury. But I
think never
the Eagles,
say no way with him.
There's no way. He's on my team, so I'll say no way. I'm going Panthers minus 3.5 as well. Definitely Darnold rushing touchdowns going to be less likely with McCaffrey back. There's some analysis for you.
I hate to do this, but I'm going to take the Panthers too.
Yep, there you go.
I just think people say the hungry dog runs faster. It's just Philly's not fighting for anything. Carolina's in a point where They're the second best team in that division. They're very clearly in a spot for a wild card at worst, unless like shit hits the fan very quickly. I think it comes off one of those, hey, like Dallas is just good. They beat us. Like let's come back, let's win a game at home. At the end of the day, what are they? They'll be 4-1. I can't do the math. They'll be 4-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like let's forget last week happened. You went to Dallas, they beat you. They're a good football team. Let's come home. Let's win a game. Let's win it handily. Let's get back on the winning ways. I just think it's a combination of trusting the coaching staff between Matt Rule and Joe Brady, because I think Matt Rule has kind of proven that he's at the very least gets guys to play hard for him. And when we get to Jacksonville, we can talk about the opposite. But Joe Brady's also just proven that at any level that he's able to call plays and get guys open. And I mean, Joe Brady, I said this earlier, I don't know how soon he's going to be a head coach, but if he's still on the Panthers when Tom Brady retires, that's the best team in that division. No doubt in my mind. Not even close. The team they have with the coaching staff that they have, like I said, especially with Rule and Joe Brady, to me, I know that's like a long-term kind of thing, but I think this is a big bounce-back week for Carolina. I think they win this game by double digits, so give me the 3.5 at home. It almost feels like a trap line. I feel like I'm walking right into a trap, but I'll take the trap. All right, JP, your favorite team, the Green Bay Packers. They go to Cincinnati. They're a 3-point favorite at the Bengals. This also kind of feels like a trap line. That over-under is 51. Tell me about your favorite team and your favorite quarterback.
They have a team to bet on right now. I think I bet on them every single week, if I remember correctly. Again, line makes no sense. No sense at all. Packers, 3-point favorites against the Bengals. Is the Bengals 2-2? They're in your division. You should tell me.
The Bengals are 3-1.
No, they're 3-1. Yeah.
Oh, 3-1.
Because they were going to be 2-2, but
they beat the Jaguars. Okay.
Yeah.
So they beat the Vikings, terrible team. Steelers, terrible team. Jaguars, terrible team. What analysis do you need here? Mixon is, as of this point, probably not going to play. So it's going to be all passing, and it's going to be the Packers. So I'm going to roll with Packers -3. This is one of my best bets, and I'm going to pull a Ryan here. I'm going to take two best bets on the same game. So I'm going Packers -3 and over 51.
Kyle?
Well, the analysis I'm going to give you, you said what analysis do you need, is that it is an absolute trap line. I mean, I looked at this line and just immediately said it makes zero sense. And now I'm looking at the public numbers, and I know it's early in the week, but 81% are on the Packers -3. So that's my analysis with it. I absolutely hate it, but my pick is the Bengals +3.
Kyle, do you know what the last trap line that the Packers were on when it was a 3-point line?
Which one was that?
49ers 3-point favorites at home against the Packers week 3.
Yeah, and that didn't go well, but
somehow
yeah.
We all picked the Packers +3 and it hit.
Yeah. I just think this one's a trap line. I'm gonna go against it. So Packers +3. Fade in the public, something. I rarely did.
+3. Right, Bengals +3. You said Packers +3.
In week 3, it was Packers +3.
So I'm going to be the little mouse that sees the cheese in the trap, and I'm going to try and get the cheese out before the trap closes. This is one of those games where it's like there are certain traps you can, like, they're gross and you just whatever. Like, great example. That Vikings-Cardinals game, that was a trap line, but it's like, it wasn't like out of the realm of possibility the Vikings could cover and win that game. Like, the Vikings, when they play well, have an offense to compete with anybody, like we talked about. When that offense is running well, they can compete with anybody. And I'm not trying to downgrade this Bengals offense because they've been fairly decent, especially with Joe Burrow being healthy. But I just feel like a lot of these trap lines, and JP talked about it before, a lot of these trap lines with the Packers, it seems like the Packers cover these trap lines. Like, at some point, it just comes back to, like, and JP's going to love to hear this, like, Aaron Rodgers is just like a man amongst boys in this league. Like, when Aaron Rodgers guess what? They said Aaron Rodgers was done. They said he didn't want to win football games for the Packers anymore. Since then, he hasn't lost a football game. Like, that Aaron Rodgers, he's the kind of guy that plays with a chip on his shoulder. Whether he has to or not, he shouldn't have to because he's an all-time great quarterback. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's not even close. But guess what? This man plays with a chip on his shoulder because guys talk about how he is off the field, how he is on the field. He's a bad teammate. He's a bad family man. He's a bad this and that. He's all of that, whether it gets to him or not, he plays well on Sunday because of that. I don't think he played well because they drafted Jordan Love last year. I don't think he won the MVP. But I don't think that hurt. That's all I'll say. I think this is a man that plays with a chip on his shoulder, and anytime he's doubted is a time that he comes through. And like I said, I know this is a trap line, but I'm going to be the mouse. I see the cheese. Hopefully the cheese gets out before the trap closes. So I'm just going to be the Packers -3.
Well, and that's what they said about MJ in the documentary. It was he'll make up his own reasons to be doubted, to have a chip on his shoulder. So don't give him reasons. Don't give him motivation because he'll just make it for himself. He doesn't need you to do it. So if you're going to make it easier on him, then good luck.
Have you seen the I guess it's somewhere in his house, in Matt Nagy's house, like the room of like, it's like all like the play sheets and like all of that or whatever. It's like a room. It's like literally filled with that. Somebody tweeted a picture of that and was just like imagining like Aaron Rodgers where he does that, but it's just like every single enemy is just on the wall. And he just comes home like after every win and just like stamps like conquered. Like I could see him doing that. Like that's the kind of man that he is. But guess what? You can be that kind of cocky, arrogant, whatever when you're as good as he is. Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line. All right. The New England Patriots coming off, I don't even know how to describe that game. One of the more hyped regular season games in a while. Probably the only time Brady's going to go back to New England and play them. I think they performed a lot better than a lot of people thought they were going to. I mean, I always kind of thought that was going to be close because as good as Brady is, and Brady is that good, I understand Belichick needs the players on the field. But to tell me he wasn't pulling everything out of that defensive playbook, working with his son to figure out how to, let's just drop 8 guys. Let's make Brady throw the ball underneath. It's raining. It's gross. I'm not saying that necessarily impacts Brady that much, but Belichick treated that as a Super Bowl. And I think the reports came out of Tampa that they were too. But at the end of the day, it's like, if Bill Belichick decides that you're going to throw the ball underneath, you're just going to throw the ball underneath. That's really what it is. Now, Brady missed a couple throws here and there for sure, but that's kind of what it is. It's like, we're going to play underneath. You're going to have a couple chances to kind of hit that long ball, and you better do it when you do. And the Bucs were lucky to come out with a win. I mean, people criticizing Belichick kicking that field goal. The only criticism I have of him kicking that field goal is that if he makes it, Brady probably still goes to win the game. I have no issue with him kicking the field goal because saying, it's 56 yards, it's in the rain. The dude barely missed it. He hit it halfway up the upright. Like, if he came up 5 yards short, 2 yards short, whatever, it's like if he just didn't get it there, I understand that. But to say it was the wrong decision to kick the ball because it was 56 yards in the rain, he just missed it. He hit it off the upright and hit it halfway off the upright. So like I said, the only concern, the only, I guess, thing against that decision, like I said, would be that there was, 40-something seconds left, 48 seconds, whatever it was, that Brady's still probably going to come down and win the game. We saw, JP said with Aaron Rodgers, did it against San Francisco, come down and wins the game. Kyle, they're an 8.5-point favorite at Houston. This is a very different situation than they were in last week. That over-under is 39.5. What are your thoughts?
Jesus, that is a low total, but when you're looking at those two teams, it's definitely possible to go under. But my pick here, I mean, it's more of a Houston fade than anything because they have just been absolutely atrocious. They've been, the last few games with Mills at QB have just been terrible. I mean, 40-0 against the Bills. I stupidly took them to cover that absurd number last week. 24-9 against the Panthers. It really just hasn't been pretty. I'm leaning the Pats -8.5 here.
JP.
Total's too low. This is 2 points lower than the lowest total we've had all year, so this is the lowest total of the year. If the Pats defense is anywhere near what they had on Sunday, then the Texans won't score a touchdown. So I'm not going to trust New England to score 30, so I'm going to take the under 39.5.
I see a total under 40, and I don't care if it's some JV team versus some middle school team. At the end of the day, you guys are professional football players, and to me, a total under 40. I know I always say you want to bet the under of the lowest total and the over of the highest total, but at some point, You see it over under 40. You know it's a dumb bet. You know this game's going to end like 13-3, but I'm going to take the over. So that's what I'm going to do. Take the over of 39.5. All right. Tennessee, they are a 4-point favorite, JP, at Jacksonville. That over-under is 48.5. First things first. Will Urban Meyer be the coach on Sunday?
Yes.
And will they win their first game under Urban Meyer?
See, I made this pick without thinking about the Urban Meyer situation. All I was thinking was, I still like the Titans. I don't like the Jaguars. 4 points seems ludicrous, so I'm going to take Titans -4. Now, when you brought up Urban Meyer, since that point, I've wanted to change my pick. Because I think that will just motivate them. Now they're going to play looser. They don't care anymore. Coach doesn't care, so why should they care? So Jags +4 seems like a very lovely pick, and I'm going to go Titans -4.
Kyle, before you go, I'll give my thoughts on this game. I'm not touching a side here. I think this is one of those where it's like, I could see both ways for the Jaguars. I could see exactly what you said, where it's like, it's not college anymore. What's Urban Meyer going to do? Like, cut us all? Like, he doesn't control our scholarships. He's not just the ruler of everything that goes on. Like, he's realizing that. So the guys, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm just going to play my game. Like, whether it's going to be here or somewhere else, I'm going to go prove that I can play some football and I'm going to get a contract and I'm going to get paid, whether it's here or there. And I think the whole issue with Urban Meyer was it wasn't even everything that happened. It all started with, after the game, it was a bad loss. They should have won that game. No doubt about it. 100%. You get in the locker room after the game and you talk to your team and you say, hey guys, like, we're going to stick together. We're going to fight this out. We're going to finish this season strong. And then he doesn't get in the flight home with the team. How do you do that? How do you say we're going to stick together and you don't do it? Urban Meyer's not a guy. Yes, he's a first-year head coach. But Urban Meyer has been given, to say boatloads of money is an understatement to boatloads. I think, what's he making? 10, 13 million, something like that a year? Like something crazy. And it's like, dude, just go back with the team and then you don't have to leave the airport. Just get a private plane and go right back to Cincinnati. Like, I understand you're going there and you're doing your own thing. You've got your bar. It's like a charity thing. You're supporting. No issue with that. You played on Thursday night. A lot of teams play on Thursday night. The weekend's off. You know, you're not whatever. I get that. Just get on the fucking flight home and get on a flight back to Cincinnati. We're not talking about 10-hour flights here. I mean, this is crazy. And then he has this viral video, whatever. Like, is he cheating? Whatever. No, none of that. That's whatever. But then he gets back in front of the players and he talks about, like, oh yeah, like she was just dancing on me, like I shouldn't, like whatever. Like, dude, like it is a closed door meeting. Be a fucking man to these players. Say, you know what? I got drunk. I fucked up. I put us in a spotlight I shouldn't have put us up in. That's my fault. Guess what? Let's go win a fucking football game because I put our ass in the jackpot right now. Let's go fix that. Like, that's all you have to say. Just own up to a mistake. Don't go into, we always talk about these liars. They like go into more and more detail. Oh, she was doing this and this and this. It's like, if you're telling the truth, just tell the truth. They're going to respect you a lot more. Just say, hey guys, I got drunk. I fucked up. I shouldn't have done it. Guess what? I put you guys in a bad situation. Now help get me out of this hole and we're going to win this thing together. That's what he needed to do. And that's not what he did. So with that being said, I can see the opposite of what JP said, where these guys are just like, fuck this dude. I am not going to play for him. We're going to get this dude fired, and then when we get somebody else, we're going to come back and win. So I can see both sides of the coin. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take the over after all that analysis. That's what I'm going to do. The Jaguars' offense looked pretty decent last week. Trevor Lawrence maybe has turned a corner a little bit. I think Marvin Jones has obviously been what he's been all year. That DJ Chark injury does not help, no doubt. The Titans score points. We know that. I don't know the status on A.J. Brown and Julio. I don't know if both are going to be out again this week. I have a feeling one, if not both, will be back because that's kind of knowing them. They're very rarely more than 1 or 2 week injuries unless they're like long injuries. So I assume they get at least one of them back. Even if not, Derrick Henry, he might run for 300 yards if he has to. I know the Jaguars' run defense has been all right. Mixon started to get towards them towards the end of the game. I can't find a side. Who knows how the Jaguars are going to come out under Urban Meyer this week. I'm taking that over 48.5. Kyle, now that I've given my 10 minutes of analysis of my Urban Meyer rank, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. I'm on the over 48.5. I mean, I don't think either defense is very good. Like you said, Jacksonville's offense looked a bit better last week. The Texans' offense is humming a bit right now as well. So I'm sticking with the over 48.5, even though it's a pretty big number, and just regarding Urban Meyer too. It's just interesting to see how he's reacted to a losing team, because I don't think he's ever really coached a losing team before. This is the first time we've really seen everything unravel with him.
Michael Lombardi had a great quote on Pat McAfee's show. He said, and now I don't want to disrespect any college football teams, but in college, Urban could have just said, you know what? Yeah, last week wasn't great, but guess what? This week we got Indiana. We're good. There is no Indiana in the NFL. There is no Rutgers in the NFL. There is no, we can half show up to this game and just win this game. There's none of that in the NFL. And I think even the people who said Urban Meyer is going to struggle, I think struggling is like 4-13, 5-12, like something like that. I don't think anybody was like Urban Meyer's going to win 1 or 2 games. I don't think that was, especially with Trevor Lawrence. I think they were. I think this team, there's a chance that this goes very south very quick. There's also a chance, like JP said, like these guys are just like, you know what, fuck this guy. Like, we're just going to play loose. Like, what's he going to do? He's going to cut us? Like, he doesn't have that option. Trevor Lawrence knows how much more valuable he is to that franchise than Urban Meyer is. If Trevor Lawrence has a closed-door meeting and looks at these guys, he's like, you know what, fuck this dude as our head coach. But let's go out there, let's make some money, and let's go win some fucking football games. Guess what? Those guys are going to play for Trevor Lawrence. They might not want to play for Urban Meyer, but they're going to play for Trevor Lawrence if that's the conversation he has. And everything we've seen from Lawrence, he seems to be a good leader, especially at Clemson. But yeah, I think that over is just, I think that's the play for sure. The Broncos at the Steelers. The Steelers are a 1-point favorite. This feels like a weird line. There's over-unders 40, so once again, this is a small over-under as well. JP, we should wish Ben Roethlisberger a happy birthday. I think he turns 59 this week.
Well, happy birthday to him.
I don't even know if it's his birthday this week. That was just was an old joke that I had to get in.
Good one.
As a Ravens fan, you have to get every Steelers joke you have. They haven't had a losing season in like 70-something years. I mean, it's been like 12 years, but it feels like forever.
Right. I'm trying to figure out which 9 games they're going to win, or which 8 more games they're going to win, because I know it's going to happen. So eventually I have to pick them. You called Teddy correctly last week. Covers 3 out of 4.
Well, he did get hurt, so I won't take all the credit for that.
Okay. Well, was he covering before he got hurt?
Hey, you can give me the credit. Just because I don't have to take the credit, you can still give me all the credit you want.
Don't like this game. Won't watch this game. Don't care about this game. Broncos +1.
Kyle?
Yeah, do we know if Teddy's going to play yet? I saw it was
he's still in the concussion protocol, but he was at practice today. So they say just even not practicing, just being at practice means he's progressed through parts of the concussion protocol that they think means he would play by this weekend. Okay,
so Broncos +1, and it's one of my best bets. I'm betting on Teddy now, which means it's going to go horribly wrong for Teddy because I was off him for the first 3 weeks, and he covered the spread every week.
So the official report coming out of the Broncos beat reporter was Teddy Bridgewater will not practice today. However, the Broncos quarterback has been progressing through concussion protocol as shown today while he was at practice, even though he was not practicing. If he can return to getting a limited practice tomorrow, tomorrow, even limited, he has a very good shot at suiting up on Sunday. That's what's coming out.
Okay.
And even I'm going to do this, and I mean I think one of you guys should have done this too, but I'm going to take the Broncos +1 if Teddy plays. If he doesn't, I'm going to take the Steelers. I mean, I think that's very easy to say. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm on the Broncos +1. If Teddy doesn't play, give me the Steelers. How's that? I think that's fair, right? Can I not do that? Do we think the line's going to change that much? Do we think this line's even built in, like whether Teddy's playing or not? Like, I don't think this line changes much. It should, but I don't think it does. So, +1 if Teddy plays.
I don't see the line changing. I just don't know if you can do that.
So here, I'll make a deal with you guys. I'm taking the Broncos +1. If Teddy plays and the Broncos become like a 1 or a 2 point favorite, then obviously it's obviously the lines we have locked in. But if Teddy doesn't play and the Steelers become a 3, 4, 5 point favorite, it's still obviously I'll just take what the fuck's the name? The Broncos. So you know what? I'm just gonna go in with you guys. Kyle,
so now
I'm betting on Teddy because JP's bullied me out of taking the Broncos if Teddy doesn't play. So, you know what? Fuck it. Teddy Bridgewater is the starting quarterback of the Broncos, even when he's not. That Teddy Bridgewater ATS vibe is going to filter through that team.
He's teaching Drew Lock how to cover. He's giving him all his secrets of being a cover god.
Okay. All right, let's go through this quick because we did this a little bit before the pod. I'm not getting into this whole thing, but Vic Fangio talking about the Ravens going for their 100. I think they were 3 yards short of whatever it was. It's 100 yards total rushing they've had. I think it's like over 2.5 years. I don't know the exact number of games.
42 games in a row, 43 now.
42. So it was 42 before last week, 43 now. Vic Fangio saying what the Ravens did. First of all, this is what bothered me the most. He said he expects it out of an organization like the Ravens. I mean, you guys are the unbiased ones. Are the Ravens not like one of those organizations where it's like all these guys come back and sign like one-day contracts? Ravens very rarely, obviously, I understand we had our little Ray Lewis mishap, whatever. That was more of a Ray Lewis thing than like a Ravens thing, and it wasn't like 10 years into his career. You guys tell me if I'm off on this. I think the Ravens are almost like one of the model franchises that teams should try and be like the Ravens. Is that no? Am I crazy by saying that?
They seem like a pretty upstanding organization to me. I mean, I've never seen, besides obviously Ray Lewis, but you said that was that's a Ray Lewis thing, not
Everyone's
a
going
Ravens
to have
thing.
guys that are going to have their issues like here and there and like whatever. And at the end of the day, it's like, let me ask you this question, JP. If you just heard the quote of a head coach saying, I would expect nothing less out of an organization like that, you probably would name 20 teams before you got to the Ravens at least, right?
I wouldn't. I don't know about 20. I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't call them a model franchise because I wouldn't think of them like that because I don't think about the Ravens a whole lot. I think you guys should avoid signing players with the first name Ray. If you're getting Ray Rice, that's more of an NFL situation. But
why? They're both Pro Bowlers, Super Bowl winners.
Okay, maybe you are that type of organization then.
But we're not, though. That's the thing. It's like once that Ray Rice thing happened, he didn't play another snap in the NFL. Greg Hardy goes out and he gets a 10-year, $850 billion deal with the Cowboys. Like that's like here, and this is the thing that I want to say about that. Every organization is going to have issues with players because these guys are adults. They're professionals. A lot of these guys are being put in situations where they have money where they've never had that kind of money before. They have fame. They have power. They think they're untouchable, whether right or wrong. At the end of the day, it's how organizations handle those issues because you're going to have those issues. It's how do you handle them? How do you come out on the other side of them? If the Ravens were like the whole, Ray Rice thing, like, that sucked, whatever, but guess what? He's our starting running back. Like, Ray Rice didn't play again, not because of the NFL. He didn't play again because of the Ravens. Remember Goodell talking about how a casino doesn't have any cameras. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. A casino has 0 cameras. No cameras in a casino. Why do you need cameras in a casino? People are probably just going and, losing 50 cents, 75 cents. Definitely not millions and millions and billions of dollars being transferred to that casino. Sure, no, whatever. That's how the NFL is. That's the kind of organization the NFL is. They want the best guys on the field, and that's what they want to do. That's what the NFL is. The Ravens, I'm not saying that they're this perfect whatever, but he didn't play another snap. The Ray Lewis issue, as much as you want to talk about it, I mean, there was nothing ever formally brought, done, convicted. I mean, it's just like, if you really live in this, hey, like, whatever. I mean, if we're talking about Urban Meyer, what do you think he did while Aaron Hernandez was in Florida? Like, you think Aaron Hernandez was, like, living in his basement? He was like, dude, just, like, 2 nights. Let's just not murder someone tonight. Like, let's just go a weekend without not murdering somebody. Like, you know what? We played Georgia on Saturday. Let's go murder them. Like, that's what he had to do for guys like Aaron Hernandez. So I think that's what bothered me most about the Broncos and Fangio is outside of him being a pussy, which is if you don't want us to get it, guess what? As Harbaugh said, you're going for a 16-point touchdown. Don't throw the ball in the end zone in triple fucking coverage. Don't give us the ball back if you don't want that to happen. But you're a professional football team. So, at the end of the day, Vic Fangio, as we expect from a former Bear, is a pussy. Oh, pussy.
Remember a few minutes ago when you said that you weren't gonna get into it?
I said I wasn't gonna get into the Lamar aspect of it because I said that the Lamar aspect is a whole other thing, and I just wanted to get it on the record that Vic Fangio is a fucking pussy. And I don't know if I said this, but Vic Fangio, pussy.
So
Vic Fangio, pussy.
Yes, I think the organization like that thing, that's different than having, like, you can be a bad organization by signing, you can be the Dallas Cowboys and you can sign whoever as long as you're going to be the best player on the field. We don't care what you've done. I don't think that's the Ravens. I think it's more of he's going to do whatever he can to get this record, and it's not, I mean, it doesn't matter to him that he's already won the game. He's going to try and get the record. It's the same, and I'm not saying that's bad. It's the same thing he does at the preseason games. He's trying his hardest to win those games, even when other coaches don't want to because they don't care. It's just about getting the players reps. Harbaugh's trying to win preseason games, and he's trying his damnedest to get those 100-yard rushing games. So I definitely see Harbaugh's point when talking about Fangio's comments. Where I don't see Harbaugh's point is where he's making fun of Fangio for going for the touchdown because you're trying to get the players reps.
No, for sure. And if Fangio comes out and he says, you know what, we're out here trying to win football games. Like if John's worried about trying to get records that don't matter and trying to do that because he's ultra competitive and he's worrying about things that really doesn't matter at the end of the day, fine. I have no issue with him saying that. But to what you said at first, I think the comparison is that teams that have that reputation, like you said with the Cowboys, or sign those kind of players or whatever, I think it's a lot more likely to say those teams don't care about the health of their players. They're trying to win football games, and at the end of the day, it's like, we'll put the best guys on the field, and yeah, you know, maybe this puts them in a spot where it's not the best spot, but guess what? We're trying to win a football game. I don't know. He's a fucking pussy. He's a pussy. And guess what, Vic Fangio? You're lucky Teddy Bridgewater is your quarterback. Because if Teddy Bridgewater wasn't your fucking quarterback, you'd be 0-4. You'd be getting ready for an 0-17 fucking season. You know what? You're glad, Vic, that I like Teddy. Because otherwise I would say I wish Teddy was out for the year so that you can get your ass fired. Because you deserve to have your ass fired. Because guess what? That Broncos defense has been good for a while. And that offense has been worse than fucking Vanderbilt. You know what, Vic Fangio? That's a good job for you. Vanderbilt. Go there. Go see how Nick Saban takes it, you know, when you're down 49-0. See if Nick Saban's just, hey, guys, take the ball back. We don't want to do this anymore. Okay. I'm done with my Broncos rant. Pussy. All right.
On to Washington.
So at the end of the day, you bullied me into taking the Broncos whether Teddy Bridgewater plays or not after I just said I hope that they lose every fucking game because of Vic Fangio. So guess what? I'm hoping Teddy Bridgewater doesn't play and I'm taking the under. Fuck the side. Under a 40. That's what I'm taking. I really want to take the Steelers and make it my best bet, but I'm a Ravens fan, so I can't do that.
Can't hope he doesn't play. Can't root against him.
I'm hoping he's healthy enough, but Vic Fangio decides to make a dumb enough decision where he's like, you know what? Drew Lock's our starting quarterback. Drew's the guy. That's what I'm hoping for. And then Vic Fangio can get fired, and then Teddy can go win 13 games in a row. That's what I'm hoping for.
All right. Let's move on to the next game.
The Saints. Well, I was trying to delay it because this next game is going to turn into how the Giants are great and how they're going to go win the NFC East and blah, 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 blah. The Saints are a 2-point favorite at Washington football team. They're coming off that loss to the Giants. Saquon Barkley, finally for once this year, showing some, I think it wasn't even the yards. I think he finally showed some of the agility we hadn't seen much. There was a lot of cuts he hadn't been making early in the season, a lot of like, let's find a hole, let's get the yards, let's get tackled again, let's start, you know, whatever. Seemed like we had old Saquon back last week. Obviously that didn't help the Saints. Kyle, you are the Giants fan. You watched that entire game, obviously. The Saints, they're a 2-point favorite this week. That over-under is 44.5. Do the Saints bounce back or do the Giants murder their soul?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was going to wait to really get into the Giants thing until we get to that game, but now you got me excited. Still going to wait on it, going to keep it Saints focused for now. Yeah, I wasn't really impressed last week by the Saints. I mean, we were all coming in saying, look, it's the Hurricane game. I mean, it was their first game back at home. You would have expected a little more fire out of them to try to go and win that football game, but just didn't happen for them. And meanwhile, you got Washington on the other side riding a ton of momentum. That game-winning drive against the Falcons. Once again, we're talking about two bad teams here, but I mean, they are coming off some momentum. I still riding the Heineke train. Think he's a better quarterback than people think. He's my backup quarterback in fantasy. Picked him up, but yeah, I'm actually looking at Washington +2 at home. So I'm not riding the complete Giants are winning the NFC East yet, even though we're going to get into that later. I think there's a chance, but going Washington +2 here.
So you are going with the Giants murder the Saints soul, though. That you're taking because the Saints are not going to have a comeback. JP, do you agree?
I don't agree. I mean, I do appreciate the Giants last week. I believe I did say it on the pod that the Saints just don't play well in even numbered weeks. So they look fantastic in week 1, and they look terrible in week 2, and they look fantastic in week 3, and they look terrible in week 4. So you know what? We're gonna go Saints -2, and I'm gonna make it a best bet because it's an odd numbered week, and the Saints are gonna look great.
I'm just going to take the under. I just think this is a game where I agree. And Kyle, you know I'm with you. I said it when Fitzpatrick got hurt. I love Fitzpatrick, but I think it's asinine to just assume that I almost said the R word. I almost called him the R word. The Washington football team is just going to be that much worse with Taylor Heineke as the quarterback. I mean, they almost beat Tom Brady in the playoffs last year with Taylor Heineke as the quarterback. So I agree with you. I think Heineke's a lot better than people think. I just think this is one of those games where it's like, Heineke won that game for them last week. Heineke brought them back into that game last week. There was a very funny tweet. I forgot who showed it, but it was like the ESPN percentages, and it was like the Falcons at one point had like a 98.9% chance of winning it, and someone just tweeted a picture of that and was just like, yep, Falcons are back. That felt good. Like, yep, this Falcons having like a 98% chance to win and losing, like, we missed those times. But I think that's because of what you said, Kyle. I think it's because Heineke is good enough to be able to do that. I don't think, obviously, the Falcons are good, but still, it's pressure situations when you're down. What were they? I think they were down 10, 13, whatever it was, like halfway through the third quarter. And just to kind of build that back up and, get them back into it. It feels like almost of a letdown spot a little bit for both these offenses. Do we know, I know obviously Michael Thomas isn't back this week. Is that officially a week 8 thing? Have they do we know exactly? Because I think the Saints I think that relationship may have been repaired, it sounds like, because we haven't heard a lot out of it. So I think this may be the Saints trying to kind of skate by until James can get his guy back. Do you guys know? Is there anything on Michael Thomas? Have they said anything? Do we know?
I don't know off the top of my head. I was going to check fantasy because I'm sure I have him in one of the leagues, and that'll tell me. But
yeah, I know I have him in one of mine too. But yeah, obviously if they're saying he's not going to be back towards the end of the season, that point is irrelevant, doesn't matter. But if he's going to be back week 7, week 8, I think that you're at the point where, you're trying to just get to that point. So like I said, I can see both sides of this game. Feels like a letdown for both offenses, especially Washington. So I'm going to take that under of 44.5. That's what I'm going to take here.
He's first eligible to return in week 7. That's the earliest he can come back.
Yeah,
they haven't said. And they have a bye next week, so they haven't really said what he's doing.
Right, and so if he is a week 7 or week 8 guy, they've got to bye before. I think that point could be very valid. Like, let's not be like an awful football team by the time he comes back. Let's just still be in that conversation, especially with how good Carolina's been. But yeah, I'm gonna take that under a 44.5. All right, JP, I have to start with you. The Lions at the Vikings. The Vikings are an 8-point favorite. This over-under is 49.5. Is it fair to say that the Lions are the best bad team in the NFL?
Well, yeah. Didn't you see Big Cat's 0-2 NFL power rankings? It's the Lions are number 1, and the Jags are number 2.
Well, let me ask you this. And obviously you're a big Vikings fan. The Lions, there are teams you watch, like the Jets last year. There are teams that you watch and you're like, this team may not win a game. Like, you watch the Lions and just the way they play these games, like, you don't look at the team and be like, they're not going to win a game. They're going to win some games this year. They're going to win a couple games. They're going to pick some teams off they shouldn't pick off. How nervous are you that this is the week that it happens?
Extremely, because this is the type of game that we will historically lose. Oh God, I hate losing I hate losing the Lions. I really do. I hate it. I don't think we lose here. I really don't.
Don't lose the Lions. If you hate it, just don't.
Unfortunately, I don't make that call. Zimmer makes that call, and he needs to be fired. So,
you brought that up. Is that official? You're out there that Zimmer needs to be fired. You're done with Zimmer.
Oh, I've been on this train for a minute. It has to be fired. His defense sucks. His defense sucks. He's a defensive coach, and his defense sucks.
You're bringing up the exact same point that I said. I didn't call for Vrabel to be fired, but it's like, you can have good offense, but when these guys are defensive guys, and your defense just sucks every fucking year. Like Vrabel, that we talk about with them, you just be a halfway decent defense. Like, even with Kirk Cousins, just keep your team in the game. Give Kirk a chance to win the game. He's not going to come back from 30 points, but if he's in the game, he's going to play well.
I mean, I can't I can't name a single player on the Tennessee defense. So if you don't have the players, you don't have the players. But you should be signing defensive players. We have so many players, and we are wasting the talents on the offense. We are wasting Cook, we're wasting Jefferson, we're wasting Thielen. And we signed Harrison Smith, Barr, Kendricks. We've had them for years. We've had Harrison Smith for like a decade. And we just haven't had a good defense in the last 2 years. Signed Peterson. We can't cover anybody. We don't have any corners, and it's depressing because he's a defensive coach, and I knew we had to sign a defensive coach, and he was the dude for a while, but he doesn't know how to coach a defense right now. So that being said, I'm on the over because the Lions are going to score. So it's over 49.5, and I really hope we don't lose.
All right, so I'll make this quick because I think Kyle has dinner plans. But if you're replacing Zimmer, who's at the top of your list?
No clue. None.
Or we haven't even gotten there yet. We're just, let's get him out.
No, get him out. I don't care.
We're just like troops. Like, Arteta out, and we'll worry about the next guy in after Arteta's out. Like, just get him out.
Yeah, I can't say that I care who's the coach as long as it's not Zimmer. That's where we're at.
All right, Kyle, tell me why the Vikings are going to win this game by 3 touchdowns.
Well, I'm not going to tell you why the Vikings are going to win this game by 3 touchdowns because my pick is the Lions +8. I think the spread's a little too big. All of these the Vikings play a ton of close games. I think this is the situation where the Lions, a divisional game, may pull a backdoor cover situation. So I'm taking the Lions +8 here.
Well, you forget that when we play games, we lose them by very little, but we win them by a lot.
JP just nailed it. I wish he didn't say it because he stole my point. The Vikings -8. I love it. Every time, we talked about it earlier with the Vikings and the Cardinals, that trap line. Every time the Vikings are in a trap line, you just got to look at it. Like, this is like, why are the Vikings 8-point favorites? They shouldn't be 8-point favorites. The Lions have played well enough that it should be it shouldn't be over a touchdown. It should be a touchdown at most, maybe 6.5, maybe even keep it kind of right there. Because we've proven that the Lions can put some points up. This line is 8 because the Vikings are going to win this game by 3 touchdowns. The Vikings -8, and it is my first best bet of the week. I love it, love it, love it, love it. I can't wait for Kirk Cousins to throw for 450 yards this week. Love it.
Daniel Jones.
Why are you shaking your head, JP? Last time I said I love the team, I love the Giants, I said they were going to win outright. And what the fuck did happen? They won outright as 8-point dogs. Do you want me to say I like the Lions and I love them? Would that make you happier?
No, it would not.
Okay. I love the Vikings. They were my first best bet of the week. Vikings -8. I'm going to go with JP too because I thought about it making a best bet as well. 2 best bets on this game, the over as well. Like I said, I think Kirk Cousins puts up 450 yards. I think this team goes off this week. I'm going to even give you an exact score, so you might want to bet this. Vikings win this game. Let's go 42-17. 38-17, something like that. That's what I'm going to go with. That's what the Vikings win this game. And I'm going to get this. If the Vikings win this game 42-17, I quit the pod. You will never hear from me again. I will never tweet again. I'm just going to end on, hey, I predicted the exact score. You will never hear from me again. Just get out.
Do you want me to add Vikings -24 to your best bets?
I know it sounds crazy, but like come Sunday, I'm going to see what kind of alternate line I can get with the Vikings, like minus, like not that high, but I'll see like if I can get something between 14 and 17, something between 2 touchdowns and 3 scores. Like if I can get that, yeah, 100%. So maybe we'll add that later in the week. But for those listening, I haven't done much research this week. We've talked about that. There's a couple things that I've looked at, a couple things that I like. The Vikings, I can't wait for this. They are going to demolish the Lions this week. And I think
the Lions to win outright.
It would A, make a lot of sense for the Lions to win, and B, it would make a lot of sense for the Vikings to look fabulous in this game and draw me back in before they immediately lose to Carolina and Dallas.
And I know this is going to sound stupid, but this is one of those where it's like, you really could bet the Lions money line and the Vikings spread. Like I don't see the Lions covering and not winning this game. The Lions could win this game, absolutely, 100%. But like JP said, when the Vikings win games, they win them big, especially against bad teams. When they start to play well and they start to beat them, they beat them. So could the Lions win? Absolutely. But if the Vikings win this week, which they will, they'll win by 3 scores.
I was just saying based on our games this year. So we only have the one win. It's not against a bad team.
No, but I feel like that's even like a Vikings thing, like just in general. like there's the weeks where it's like, oh, the Vikings are going to suck. It's like they come out and they put up 35 points, and Justin Jefferson last year had 8 catches, 160 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's what the Vikings do, especially against bad teams. Kyle, I can see you're ready to move on because we're not talking about the Giants. We're not there yet. But it's the Dolphins at the Bucs. The Bucs are a 10-point favorite. That over-under is 48. We already brought up that game last week between the Bucs and the Patriots, talking about how it might affect the Patriots this week. You tell me, what are your thoughts on this game? How does it affect the Bucs?
It's more that I've given up. I've finally given up on the Miami Dolphins. I've bet them every single week on this podcast, I think, and it's let me down almost every time. So I'm actually looking not on a side this week. I'm looking at the under. Because I think that I've essentially given up on them at this point. I don't think they're going to score a lot of points on this Bucs defense. And if the Bucs steamroll them, hey, it could be 35-0, and that 48 could still hit. So I'm going under 48 on this game.
JP, before you give your analysis, I'm going to say I agree with Kyle. I think this number is way too high. I almost, once again, feel like I'm walking into a trap because this number feels high. Obviously, the Bucs have that offense that can put up points. Their defense is good. Defense is very good. Over-unders 48. Dolphins have played some low-scoring games. Dolphins at the Bucs. I don't love that spread, so I'm going to take the under. JP, what are you at?
Don't like the spread. Total feels low. Dolphins feels like a bounce-back week. Carlton Davis out for the Bucs. Feels like a bounce-back week for the Bucs offense as well. They're not playing in the rain. They're not playing at Belichick. Dolphins defense hasn't been good this year. Just hasn't. Xavier Howard, though, Baylor Bear, he's pretty good. I'm going to take the over 48.
I'm not even getting into that rant, but I cannot believe Carlton Davis was on special teams. That's like if the Vikings, like if Thielen and Osborne and Dalvin Cook was hurt and say, you know what, we're going to have Justin Jefferson return punts. Like that's what that's like. Like, hey, we're already short of that position. We're going to put our best player out there. And
I miss Thielen on special teams. He should do special teams again. He blocked that Carolina punt that one year. That was fun.
Well, it got to a point because it's like, and I'm going to probably get canceled for saying this, but like people didn't realize how good Adam Thielen was at first because it was like he was just this white guy. It was the same thing with Scotty Miller. Like Scotty Miller talked about at Bucs practice. He's like, I would go to these guys and I'd just be like, let's race. And these guys would be like, okay, let's race. And then he would just beat basically every single one of them. Like that Thielen is, I'm not going to say this because Justin Jefferson is extremely athletic, but there are very select teams where Adam Thielen's not the most athletic receiver on that team. That's all I'll say.
And Thielen, like, he was more of a, he's like,
he was a possession receiver.
Well, and he's the hometown kid because he went to a D3 school in Minnesota and he didn't come. He wasn't overhyped. He was undrafted, and I think, and it wasn't. I think it was just more of he's on the team because he's like a hometown kid and it's a fun story, but he's not that dude. And special teams, man, he made his mark on special teams. That's the reason he's playing the way he is. Or that's where he is, not the way he is, sorry.
Correct. And to be fair, a lot of guys make their spot in this league by making teams by being on special teams, and then a guy gets hurt here or there. It's just you get an opportunity here or there. And we talk about the whole, obviously, Victor Cruz thing. He was on the Giants because at first of his special teams, he was just a good special teams player. And then one preseason, he had like 12 touchdowns in 2 games. It's like, okay, well, this guy's like halfway decent. Like, that's all it is. It's like, get yourself in a spot where these guys don't want to cut you before preseason game 1 or 2. Give yourself a chance to make some plays in these preseason games, and at some point you can turn into a Victor Cruz, who was a very good receiver, and Adam Thielen, who's a very good receiver. These guys that may have never gotten a chance if they didn't give a fuck about special teams. Those are the guys, and even I've seen Tomlin talk about this, is at the very least, those guys show me that they want to play football. They want to be on this team. They want to find a way to help this team win. I know I'm a better receiver, but guess what? If you need me to be a gunner, if you need me to go out and try and block a punt, if you need me to whatever you need me to do, like that's what I'm going to do to try and make this team. And it says a lot about their mental state, and I think that's a good point as well, is that, hey, I'm here for the team. I'm here to win football games. I'm here to help you guys.
But when it comes to Carlton Davis, he should not be playing special.
Correct. Well, right, because he's an established player. He's at the point where, and once again, it'd be different if they signed Richard Sherman and he played the most snaps at corner last week. Like, that's just what they are in the secondary right now. They're just hurt everywhere. So, obviously, that doesn't help. Doesn't love that for my under, but I'm just trusting him going with the under 48 as well. All right. Browns at the Chargers. Chargers, a 1.5 point favorite at home. This over under, I can't even read my handwriting. I think it's 46.5. Sounds about right. Kyle. We saw the Browns go into Minnesota. We saw them win. We saw the Chargers Monday night have a weather delay at a stadium that's inside. Let me ask you this first. Will we have another weather delay at SoFi Stadium this Sunday?
Absolutely not, because it's rare that there's weather there ever to begin with. I mean,
that was their reasoning. That's why they're like, that's why our windows are open, because there's never weather here. Well, what happens when there is?
I mean, they should have closable windows.
Correct.
The what's it called? The Miami Marlins have that, where the outfield is open, but you're able to close it.
I saw some idiot say, do you know how tough that would be? Dude, we have stadiums that have a whole fucking retractable roof. The entire roof opens and closes. You think we can't? We have automatic windows on a fucking car. A 1998 Honda Accord has fucking automatic windows. And you think a $5 billion stadium can't fucking find a way to have automatic windows? Like, they just didn't do it. Like, let's not.
It would.
They just did.
They didn't think about it. It would probably only be another, like, I hate to say, like 50 to 100,000. Like, it's
but that's what it is.
But that's all
$5 billion. That's chump change.
Yeah.
Especially when it's the taxpayers' money. But that's a whole other story. But all right, we've gone through once again another rant of how dumb NFL organizations can be. Kyle, the Browns at the Chargers. The Chargers 1.5-point favorite. Who wins this game?
We're on fire this week with the rants, but yeah, I'm gonna go Browns plus 1.5 here. I mean, I do think it's a bit of a, we talk about it sometimes, a primetime overcorrection. I think that's what we're seeing here. I think the Browns are solid football team, better defense than what the Chargers saw this past week. So I'm taking Browns plus 1.5 here.
JP.
I don't think it's a primetime overcorrection because we just saw them beat the Chiefs the week before. I don't think the offense is going to be near as good. Like you said, the Browns defense. So if I had a lean on the total, it would be the under. But I'm going to go Chargers minus 1.5 here. It's one of my best bets this week. And I will say, Kyle, if there is another lightning delay, I will let you change your pick to the Chargers.
Okay.
Nice.
As long as I get that.
Oh, Kyle and I are doing so poorly that we can change our picks.
Fine, you guys can have all your lifelines. You can even have a phone a friend if you want. I'll even give you a phone a friend. Hey, I don't know who to pick on this game. You can even do that.
I'll just call you.
Yeah, that'd be easy.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta trust that I'll give you whatever I think is actually gonna happen, and half the time that probably won't even happen. I'm gonna take the Chargers minus 1.5. Feels like a once again, not like a huge trap, but feels close enough to whatever. But Chargers at home, I just think I think they're a better football team than the Browns. I think the Browns are good. I think the Chargers are slightly better. I'm going to take the better team at home as basically a pick 'em. They're 1.5-point favorite. If they win this game by 1, then whatever. I got what I asked for. So I'm going to take the Chargers minus 1.5. All right, Bears at the Raiders. Raiders 5-point favorite. This over-under is 44. JP, what are we going to make of the Raiders?
The Raiders are who we thought they were. They're a September team. Turned October, and they don't look as good anymore. They went up against a great offense. They did. I think Fields has a better game this week. He looked better after not playing the Browns. And I don't think the Raiders defense is going to challenge him nearly as much as the Browns did, or as I'm trying to remember who they played last week. Doesn't matter. The Lions. Lions, whatever. Montgomery's out, so they're going to have to throw the ball. So I'm going to go Bears plus 5.
Kyle?
Yeah, I know. I mean, the Raiders got exposed as what we thought they were, probably the worst 3-0 team left there, undefeated. But I do still think they're better than the Bears. I haven't been impressed with the Bears this year. Obviously, they looked a little better this week, or last week, but everybody looks better at home against the Lions. So I'm actually gonna go Vegas minus 5. I don't really love it. It's not a strong lean for me in any way. I don't have a strong lean on this game at all, but Vegas minus 5 is my pick for the pod. What's up?
Kyle, you said everyone looks better at home against the Lions, and then you picked the Lions on the road against my team.
Yes, Yes, I did. Yes,
So everyone looks better at home against the Lions except the Vikings.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Ryan.
I'm gonna take the over.
Much sense, but we're there. All right.
I'm gonna take the over. Justin Fields, officially starting quarterback of the Bears. I'm sure somebody got in Matt Nagy's ear and said, "Dude, you're gonna get us all fired. Like, fucking just name this dude the quarterback." Justin Fields starting quarterback. Raiders still able to put some points up. Obviously, that defense has been somewhat leaky. This over-under feels a little low for me. I think we still think that Bears defense is as good as it was. It's still a good defense. It's not nearly as great as it was. I just think it's too low. Over-under 44. I'm going to take that over 44. All right, Kyle. The Giants at the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a 7-point favorite. This over-under is 52.5. I'll give you your rant because this will be the only time this year that coming off a win you can talk about the Giants.
Well, we don't know about that, but the Giants
coming off a win when it matters. You guys might win a couple more games, but by that point you'll be out of playoff contention.
Hey, who says we won't win this week? But yeah, I mean the Giants looked great this past week. It was a delight to see. It was a delight to see Saquon look back to at least close to 100%. He's been slowly getting there throughout the weeks. I know you talked about it. You hit on it earlier, but this week he was really starting to hit those cuts again, getting involved in every way, shape, and form, and look like himself again. And that's really the key to our offense. I mean, because when he's performing, it opens up the field for John Ross to go and sprint down the field and score. It opens up an entire another layer to our offense, and it lets Daniel Jones shine a bit more. I mean, he looked great as well. 400 plus yards. Did you think you were ever going to see that out of Daniel Jones in Giants uniform?
I think he's good. I don't think we would see 400 yards, but I think he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, I'm definitely there on this point. I was the prime Daniel Jones hater coming into this season, and it looks like he's turned a corner. So that puts our offense in a good spot now. I mean, now we're running up against the Cowboys. Great football team this year. Rivalry game. I mean, you talk about division games, and then you talk about like Giants, Cowboys, Eagles, Cowboys. We all fucking hate the Cowboys. But let's the football team don't really fall in that same category with us when it comes to rivalries. But I'm gonna go Giants +7 this week, and it's one of my best bets. Do we win? Do we win? Yeah, always. But I think this is my second time betting our side this year. But do we win? I don't know. But can we keep it close? Can we hang with this Cowboys team? Possibly. And their defense sucks. They just lost a key piece of that defense in Jalen Smith, one of the most boneheaded moves I've seen to release him. But yeah, I think we could hang. I think we could cover the 7.
So just to clarify Kyle's analysis this pod. We talked about how everyone looks good. You just mentioned it at home against the Lions. He then picked the Lions. We now come here, and Kyle says, do I think we have a chance to potentially stay within the Cowboys? Sure, I think we do. So what does he do? He takes the Giants, which no issue with, but it's the best bet because he thinks there's a potential chance that the Giants might stay within the number of the Cowboys. There's a chance.
The potential chance. My mind was going crazy. I was getting excited. The potential chance was there's a potential chance that we keep it close and win.
So okay, all right.
So that's like a last drive thing. You're saying
right.
Last drive.
Yes. It could come down to the last drive of the game. It's happened plenty of times between us. I think it might happen again here.
All right, so before JP gives his analysis, I'm going to say this quick. This has nothing to do with the Giants. It has nothing to do with the Cowboys. It has to do with both of these teams. And I know this doesn't support my point from earlier in this year when the Cowboys and the Eagles played on prime time. 7 points is too much for an NFC East battle. I don't care who it is. These teams always tend to play close games. Do I think the Giants win this game? Probably not. Do I think they keep it close? There's a chance. I don't love this game. Giants. Give me the Giants. JP.
This is not good, Kyle. It's not good at all.
Shit, are we all on them?
So Kyle and I are opposite each other, directly opposite on 7 games. We picked the same team 3 times. This is one of those.
Well, at least you've jinxed them.
Well, we're all on them. So I'm on Giants +7. You talked about Daniel Jones throwing for 400 yards. I mean, that is pretty good for a running back, so I'll give him that. That's a pretty great stat line. So
are we at the level where you're gonna Lamar him now and call him a running back?
Oh yes, because you know what? You guys can never do that to me and my quarterback. It will never happen. So
correct. We'll just call your quarterback bad. We will never confuse him for a running quarterback. Don't worry.
Oh yes, yes, you definitely could. And we will never get a running quarterback because we are too old. So, but someone has to shut the Cowboys fans up because it's so irritating. And I forget if it was PFT that said this, but he said something about like the Cowboys always beat the Eagles, and the Eagles always beat the football team, and the football team always beats the Giants, and the Giants always beat the Cowboys. So I'm going to take the Giants.
But the Giants always beat the football team, though, so that's the wrong way to do it. We've won 5 of the last 6 games against them.
I don't care.
Did your Cowboys hate start before you went to Baylor?
Yes.
Okay. I was just curious if there was a little...
No. Cowboys and Packers fans are very, very similar, except the Packers have had
there's a reason for you to not like the Packers. Like, that's a reason.
That, and the Packers have had success in the last 2 decades, coming up on 3 decades, and the Cowboys have not. And they act the exact same way, and it's very irritating.
Fair. It's a very fair point. All right. San Francisco at Arizona. Arizona coming off a great win. People thought the Rams were the best team in football. Very well still could be the best team in football. Arizona went there, and they blew their doors out. That game wasn't really ever close. Arizona played well. They're a 5.5-point favorite at home against San Francisco. This over-under is 49.5. Once again, I know this isn't the right bet, but I'm just taking it because I have to. Out of principle, I'm taking the Cardinals -5.5. I know it goes exactly against the hungry dogs run faster thing. 49ers needing a win much more than the Cardinals do. I just think this Cardinals team is rolling right now. I loved Kyler's interview after the game where he was just like, yeah, came to the office, got a job done. Whether he actually thought that or not, who knows? But for Kyler at this point to be that composed on TV and just that, hey, yeah, you can talk about how good this. Guess what? We've just got to win football games right now, and we'll worry about winning some playoff games later in the year. I love that from Kyler. I think this team rolls. I think this team wins by more than a touchdown. So obviously, as a 5.5-point favorite, I'll take the Cardinals. Kyle, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, you mentioned it. The hungry dog plays harder, right? I mean, I'm on the Niners.
Hungry dog runs faster. Dogs run
faster. Kyle, come on.
Hungry dogs run faster. You could tell I'm losing my mind at this point. I'm getting real hungry, but
well, good. Yeah, you're hungry. You'll run faster.
Yeah. You're right. So I'm gonna run fast through this pick and pick Niners +5.5.
Good. Love when Kyle's on the other side. JP, tell me you love the Niners too.
I don't. They played the Packers in week 3, Eagles in week 2. Yeah. Okay. So they should have been running faster last week, right? Someone tell me they should have been running faster.
Which one are we referring to?
The Niners. Were the Niners favorites last week? They were. All right, that made no sense. Okay. Like you said, terrible pick. Wrong pick. Doesn't matter. Cardinals. I love the Cardinals. Cardinals -5.5. Best bet. I love Kyler. I love Hopkins. I really would like them to use Chase Evans in the red zone for personal reasons.
They don't.
I know they don't, and it's not great. So, doesn't matter. Cards -5.5. I loved Cards +4 last week, and I love Cards -5.5 this week.
Also, we're not going to go through all this because we've already established Kyle's hungry. But how about Kyle, like, halfway through the first quarter being like, holy points, and then they just didn't score the rest of the game? It was like 31-20, like, halfway through the first quarter. He's like, look at all these points, and then just didn't score the rest of the game.
Yeah,
I think the Rams literally scored 10 points after that. I think they scored 10 points the rest of the game.
Did they cover the over in that game, or no? I know I bet that.
I don't think they got there. I think it covered
the over.
I know it got close. I know it was right around the number at the end.
Hold on. I had 54.5. I remember this.
Yeah, I just completely jinxed that. So sorry anybody who ended up stressing out over that over-under, because I put in our Discord just holy points. This is some of the most I've ever seen. And then we stopped.
They did hit the
Instantly.
over for the record. They did cover
It was close though, right?
54.5.
But it was a sweat.
Yeah, it was 57. Yeah.
Okay. I knew it got close at the end.
But that was very weird because it was the first weekend where I was just like actually didn't take every game. I just kind of sat there and said, all right, I'm just going to put a couple things down. And that was one of the things. And I missed every bet in the morning slate and I hit every bet in the afternoon slate.
It's so weird because it's like NFL is one of those things. It's like certain sports. It's like when you're hot, and when you're not, you're not. NFL is one of those things you could go like 0-5, then go 5-0, just one slate to the other. Because the NFL, there is no reason for why anything happens. There's nothing. That's how the NFL works. But all right, we've got arguably two of the bigger games this weekend as primetime game. Well, even three when you're talking about the Thursday night game. But Sunday night, Buffalo at Kansas. This is Sunday night, right? Buffalo at Kansas City. Kansas City's 2.5-point favorite. Over under is 56.5. JP, the Chiefs finally covered a football game. The Chiefs covered a football game last week.
They did.
Did they do it again this week?
They 2-11 in the last 13.
I think that's what it is. 2-11 or it's 2-12 the last 14, something like that.
Sounds right to me. I'm not touching the side here because I could easily see the Bills winning this game, and I could easily see the Chiefs building off of that Eagles momentum and just running away with this one. So I'm going to go over 56.5. It's another best bet for me. Highest total of the week. Two just absolutely beautiful offenses. When you want to build an offense, build it like one of these two. So I'm going to take the over. That's almost not a bet if these two teams meet.
I'm going to say the same thing I said for Thursday night. Like two good offenses. It's a primetime game. Like probably goes under. Almost certainly goes under. But it's fun to root for points on and over on a primetime game. Two good offenses, two fun teams to watch. Over under 56.5. I'm sure this game goes 20 points under, but I'm taking the over. I'm not making a best bet like JP did, but I am going to take the over. Kyle.
Yeah, and NBC's killing it with commercials recently. We had the Hello one. Not sure if you saw the one for this game to In the Air Tonight because both quarterbacks air it out.
I haven't seen it yet. They know they hit their like peak though. They know it's not getting better than last week, so they're just trying to stay in that range of like really good commercials.
Yeah, they had the narrator saying like with these quarterbacks, you just have to look to the air, and then the beat dropped within the air tonight with them throwing long balls. It was great, but yeah, I'm still riding with the Chiefs as much as it makes no sense trend-wise. I'm going to go Chiefs minus 2.5 here. I think this is a home game, primetime. Arrowhead's going to be wild. It's a showcase game for both of these quarterbacks, and I think Mahomes outplays Josh Allen here.
If only Phil Collins would have written that song for the Bills and the Chiefs like Adele wrote Hello for the Bucks and the Patriots.
So Kyle, have you taken the Chiefs spread every single game now?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
I'm gonna do it again, goddammit.
The Chiefs could be 3-9. They could be 7-point favorites on the road at Buffalo, and Kyle be like, "Give me the Chiefs. I love the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs." Like Mahomes is their quarterback. Kyle thinks they're gonna win every single game. Which, to be fair, not the worst argument.
It has been almost
not the worst argument.
You're just 1-3 betting them this year.
Colts at the Ravens. Ravens a 7-point favorite. This is a Monday night game. Over under 45.5. I'll go first. I'm going to give my thoughts on this game real quick. I think the Colts keep it close. They seem to be that kind of team that does keep it close. This over-under seems way too low. It's 45.5. I've bet the over on the other two primetime games. Might as well make it 3 for 3. Over 45.5. That's what I'm going to take. Kyle, your turn.
And you would have a good record this year if you had just bet the over on every primetime game. So it's a good thing to do, it seems like, this season. But I am going to actually pick a side here. I'm going to pick your side. I'm going to pick the Ravens minus 7. So I might jinx them here, but yeah, I just
you're like, I'm just going to pick the Ravens because either if they win, I'm going to get points, or if they lose, they don't cover, then I'll be like, Baumohl, the Ravens fucking suck.
Well, and then he picks against my team, and he's an asshole for that too. So,
and the Giants are a best bet. He's very
team.
clearly got the worst team out of all three of us, and he picks against both of our teams, and his team is the best bet.
No, I picked your team. I'm picking the Ravens minus.
Oh, right, he did pick the Ravens. Yeah, JP, you tried to get me down the wrong path.
Well, you're calling him an asshole for picking the Ravens, and I'm saying he's an asshole for picking against my team.
No, you want him to pick against your team. Have you seen his record?
Better than mine.
Well, that's why I want you both to pick against my team. JP, please tell me you love the Colts +7 and they're your favorite bet of the week.
No, I like the over.
I can live with that. I'll live with that.
So,
as long as
I think the Colts Colts offense has been playing good. Or at least they did last week against the Dolphins. The Ravens like to give up points on Monday night. No? And Sunday night, actually.
I don't know the facts behind it, but it sounds like it.
It seems like they like to give up more points in primetime. It seems like they're in favor of the overs. So I'm going to take it.
Yeah, I don't know what much else there is to say. We were an hour and 20 minutes into this podcast. We've given you guys some rants. We've gone over every single game on this slate. Some of us are biased. Some of us aren't biased. Some of us are good at picking games. Some of us aren't good at picking games.
Do you wanna know something about the primetime overs? Actually,
tell me how many total primetime games have there been so far? I can't do that. 12. So let's 9-3 on the over. That's my guess.
I believe 8-4 because they were 0-3 last week.
Okay, but yeah, even still, 8-4 coming off an 0-3 week is like that's there's a reason for that.
Yeah, it was 8-1 other than the Panthers Texans.
So, all right, I think we've kind of gone over it. I'm not giving Kyle another chance to tell us why the Giants are going to win the NFC East. JP won't even tell us why the Vikings are going to win the NFC North because unlike Kyle, he's got a brain and can see his football team on the field and understands that. And well, to be fair, at least the Packers are in that NFC North.
No, I think the issue is I think Anthony Barr is hurt if I remember correctly, and even if he was healthy, pretty sure with the new roughing the passer rules that he would get flagged for breaking Aaron Rodgers' collarbone again. So there's no way we can win.
I knew that was coming in here somehow. I knew there was going to be that last final shot at Aaron Rodgers. And that's how we'll end this podcast because JP with a big ass fucking smile and grin on his face.
Are you sure you want to end it here? I mean, I don't even think we've talked about Vic Fangio yet.
I don't know who Vic Fangio is. Never even heard of him. Never even heard of the guy. No idea who he is. But yeah, I mean, we're 90 minutes into this episode. We've kind of gone over everything. Hopefully a couple of us have given out some winners. Hopefully a couple of us have given out some losers. And whether you guys tail us, fade us, whatever you do, hopefully you guys make some money. I mean, we're doing this every week. I'm not going to say I'm the best, but I'm just going to say right now the record says I am the best. So let the numbers speak for themselves. But as always, we thank.
Hey, Mr. Best, the St. Louis Cardinals keep it close tonight?
I'm not allowed to say anything on baseball because I don't look at stats and per nines and none of that. Nope. Not allowed to go on gut feels in a one-game wild card.
Under 4 in the first 5 seems pretty good.
If there is one game where you can go off a gut feel, it is a fucking baseball game where there's a one-game winner goes ahead playoff. That's literally the number one thing in sports where you can be like, this is a gut feel.
Yeah, I mean, you should be telling us exactly what to do here, Mr. Kyle Schwarber's going to hit a home run.
I mean, you're going to have to stay tuned because I'm going to tweet it out in a little bit.
The man on Tuesday night said Red Sox are going to win, they're going to score runs, and Kyle Schwarber's going to hit a home run. That's what he said.
3 for 3. 3 for 3.
What the hell?
And if we're going into that, I've put out 2 of those baseball tweets this year where they're just been like not even there's like necessarily picks, just like feels. The last time I said that was when Stanton. I said this was against the A's at I don't know when this was, August at some point. I was like, Stanton hits a home run tonight. This is when Stanton starts his run to try and get the Yankees through the playoffs. And since then, he played in 30-something games and hit like 140 home runs. So y'all look at the stats all you want. I use my eyes when I watch baseball because when a guy hits a ball 500 feet, the ball goes 500 feet. So this is a football show, though.
Except for Stanton last night.
Well, he hit it 500 feet in the air, just not far. But as a guy on the Red Sox, I was more than happy to see it. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us this week. Make sure, like JP said, make sure you guys are following all of us on Twitter. We all throw our thoughts out on Twitter. Kyle's K Mastoloni on Twitter. JP is Viking Fan JP, and mine, as always, is Gambling DFS Tips on Twitter. Whether you guys are listening on one of the podcast platforms, you guys are watching on YouTube, wherever it is, make sure you guys give us a like, a rate, subscribe for us. It all helps us. It keeps it free and helps us, gives us like I always say, that motivation when people are, whether you like our picks or not, just we like listeners. We like knowing that people are listening to us and that people have any interest in what we have to say, whether they like it or not. So, as always, thank you guys for joining us. I can see Kyle has that look of like dinner's ready downstairs. It's been ready for an hour and a half, and I'm hungry. So I'll let him go to dinner. I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for joining us. Best of luck this week. NFL Week 5. Let's kill it.